report for fiscal year 1920, as well as our implementation budget for fiscal year 2021, our needs-based budget for fiscal year 21-22, and our fourth quarter invoices for fiscal year 1920. So first, we will do the closure of our fiscal year 1920. So we were certified at $9,124,359 with a county share of $2,127,284. However, our previous director, based on increases in services, was projecting the budget to be $9,682,069 with a county share of $2,850,063. We actually came in at $9,738,427, which is $56,358 over last year's projections. Our county share will actually be $2,683,078, which is a decrease of $166,985 under projected amounts. Children and youth was overspent in the amount of $214,328, and that was due to increases in court-ordered placements overall, but specifically we've been placing a lot of large sibling groups. So from October 2019 to March of 2020 alone, our agency placed 39 new children, and those placements accounted for $360,000 during the remainder of the fiscal year. And in fiscal year 1920, children and youth provided placement services to 25 more children than in the previous fiscal year. And despite maximizing our Title IV-E at 113%, our Act 148 allocation was utilized sooner than anticipated due to the 80% state reimbursement for our community residential services. I will be filing an appeal and budget amendments to attempt to secure this over expenditure. I don't know if Sue or Audrey, if one of you want to speak to juvenile probation for fiscal year 1920.
Yes, this is Sue Christner. Jamie, just to let you know, I believe Judge Jones also wished to be part of this conversation, so he may actually be on.
Dawn, do you see the Jones?
No, but he was just in here about 2 minutes ago, so I think he was confused that it was online. So Anna sent him back upstairs.
Okay. If you want to take in a minute, maybe add that Jones. Do you see the?
Oh, I do see a CT Jones now.
Yeah, go ahead and we'll see if he comes in. All right.
Am I in yet?
You're in.
Yes.
Wonderful. How about I'm into the 21st century.
Welcome.
Your Honor, this is Sue Christner. I was just going to go over with the commissioners our over expenditure, and then I'll give you an opportunity to comment.
Sure. If I could just add, the reason for Judge Jones joining is that he is the judge on the panel of courts that handles the majority, if not all, of the juvenile cases, and so.
And if you're upset with anybody, you need to be upset with me because I'm the person that directs where people go. So I'm here. I tried to be there in person to get you folks to be able to give me a stern lecture in person, but I guess we're not doing that. They wouldn't let me into your offices, so at least I can manage to somehow click on.
Thank you, Your Honor. So juvenile probation was overspent by $484,147. This was actually a very unique situation because this particular fiscal year, we actually placed institutionally fewer kids at about almost 1,000 less days of care. But what was unique about this year was that we had 554 days of service in the state secure unit, which is our highest level of care, and it's also our most expensive level of care. Youth and traditional residential services generally average per diems of, I'd say it's about $250 per day. In fiscal year 1920, we actually had a total of 5 youth who had needs and community safety issues that required placement in the state secure system. Those 554 days of care were at an average of $550 per day. The demographics of those youth, they were generally violent youth, history of mental health, significant trauma. We had 2 violent sex offenders right now who are in the state secure system who could be best described as predatory. They have offended other youth, attacked staff in lower levels of care, and now we're in the highest level of care in the state system. We actually had 1 female who had admissions in the state system twice this fiscal year, which was extremely unusual. And then we also have another youth who entered the state system because he had absconded from lower levels of care, and then actually became quite violent in some higher levels of care, to where our only option for safety reasons was to move him to our state secure system. I'm definitely proud of the fact that we've reduced our overall days of care in an institutional setting. I'm very proud of the fact that in the last 5 years, we've actually, for fiscal year 1920, we've placed fewer kids than we have over the past 5 years. And had it not been for the youth that we were presented with this fiscal year, I do not believe that we would have been in that overspent area. However, with those youth, the 2 things that are most important to us are one is meeting the intensive needs of those youth, but the second is obviously the protection of the community and the inability to manage those youth in community-based settings or in open residential programs. So that's very reflective of the overspent amounts for fiscal year 1920, and I'll allow Judge Jones to comment further if he so chooses.
I don't know how much you would like to hear from me. Basically, I think that pretty much says it all. We have fewer days in placement, which is a goal for all of us. And unfortunately, we have some children who we couldn't go to a lower level of care. I believe the one individual that Ms. Christner referenced, that was the female who was in state care twice, we actually worked through Children's Services to find a lesser placement for her, and we're able to do that. So if you have any questions for me or for Ms. Christner, you can throw them out. Yes.
Yeah, Your Honor and Commissioner, if it's all right, I want to make sure I understand the bottom line as one of the fiscal watchdogs. We were overspent by $484,147 in one area and underspent by $300,000 in another area. Does that mean the county has to fork out $184,147, or is there also an appeal process to recoup that money from the state?
Commissioner Litz, if I can jump in, this is Erin. Their budget is part of our budget, so that would be part of the appeal that I will be filing.
Okay, thank you very much for the clarification.
I had a question. Bill, do you have any questions?
No, I'm good.
Just going forward, any of these folks aging out of your, care, and then in terms of projecting future costs in line with, this overage, can you give us any feel for how this looks going forward?
Commissioner Phillips, I can tell you that the 4 youth who are presently in the state system, we have 1 who should age out this fiscal year. The other 3 will not. Our goal is to stabilize their behavior so that we can move them to a lower level of care. I can tell you that as we saw our state placements rising, Judge Jones and I sat down and looked at what we could do here within the community and with kids coming out of care, to try to really boost our community-based options for kids as best we could. I can tell you that right now we are in the final planning stages for a juvenile treatment court. So we've been very proactive in trying to continue to look at opportunities we have to keep kids successful at home. However, those efforts will likely not impact those 4 kids that are in state secure care. However, we do review their cases on a monthly basis. If at any point they stabilize to the point to be dropped down to a lower level of care, we're able to do that through a simple court order to the judge that he has always been gracious to sign and assist us in moving kids out of the state system when it is safe to do so.
Yeah, and I appreciate, you know, all of your work in this area. It's very difficult, obviously, and just trying to figure out, you know, what the look ahead is and how we can, you know, fund it. That was the purpose of my question. Thank you.
Thank you all for protecting our children.
Thank you. We ask that you approve the closure of our fiscal year 2019-2020.
Motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the report as presented by the team from Children and Youth and Judge Jones.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor and a second to approve the closure of the fiscal year 2019-2020. Any further conversation or comment? Hearing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. All right, next.
Thank you. Next up, we have our implementation budget for fiscal year 2020-2021. So our budget that was certified and approved last year is $10,158,989 with a county share of $2,263,438. The state certified allocation amount was $191,385 less than the amount requested. Our projected implementation budget is $10,295,849 due to children and youth increases in court-ordered placements and in-home services due to drug dependency and child abuse concerns. In addition to this increase is attributed to Juvenile Probation's carryover of increased community residential placements, which utilizes our Act 148 money more quickly. Our county share based on these projections will be $2,251,231. The county share will actually decrease by $12,207 due to increased Title IV funds and program maintenance. We ask that you approve fiscal year 2021's implementation budget.
I'll make a motion to approve and adopt the implementation budget for years 2021.
I'll second that motion.
We have a motion and a second on the floor. Any further comment or question? Hearing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Opposed? So moved.
Thank you. Next up, we have our fiscal year 2021-2022 needs-based budget. So our request for the needs-based budget is $10,260,275, which is a $35,574 decrease from fiscal year 2021. Projected implementation budget. And this is due to us moving evidence-based programs from needs-based to our grants portion, which will allow for a higher state reimbursement rate. So we recognized when doing the budget that a lot of the programs that we currently used could be funded under our grants. So by moving that from needs-based to grants, we get in some programs a 95% state reimbursement for those programs. So we felt that that would be more cost effective to move them to the grants moving forward. The projected county share for our needs-based budget will be $2,243,344, which is a $7,887 decrease from fiscal year 2021 projected county share. As we will receive increased Title IV funds. We ask that you approve our needs-based budget for 21-22.
I'll make a motion to approve the 2021-22 needs-based budget as presented.
And I'll second that motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on the floor to approve the fiscal year 2021 needs-based budget. Any comment or question?
Chairman, Mr. Chairman, you have a raised hand from Laura LeBeau of Forever Media, but I don't know if you want to wait for after the motion. That's fine too. Just want to make you aware.
All right, well, consider the motion right now. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, so moved. And now we'll accept Ms. LeBeau.
Thank you very much, Commissioners. And I just, a quick question for Erin. In ballpark figures, I was just curious, these youth that have been remanded to the state-secured juvenile residential place, what generally is the price per child that it costs to house them there for the county?
That would actually be a question for probation, but I believe they did say it was about $550 a day.
Okay. All right. I was just curious. Thank you.
Okay, and then finally, we have our fourth quarter invoices for fiscal year 2019-2020 in the total amount of $1,641,199.45, and we ask that you approve our fourth quarter invoices.
I make a motion to approve the fourth quarter invoices for fiscal year 2021.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on the floor to pay the bills. Any comment or question on the motion? If not, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign, so moved.